If you haven't met me, my name's Chris Jensen out of northern Middle Tennessee, not far from Nashville. And I just want to share, a story with you. Recently, I went to Cincinnati, and that was a long trip. It was longer than I would like for it to be, and being at my age, I'm 64. I'm getting on up there, and so I got to make frequent restroom breaks, especially as much Diet Mountain Dew as I drink. And I stopped off at a Marathon station there and at exit 44 on I-71 and went in, took care of business, left real quick, and then I finished my trip to Cincinnati. And I went up to that dedication of my old submarine, the USS Cincinnati. It was a great event. It's a different story. It was when I was coming back that the real story happened. I stopped at that same exit, went to that same gas station, a Marathon station at exit 44 on I-71. But this time I spent a little more time in the restroom. At my age, I have to do that frequently. And what happened, what's crazy is I went in that restroom just like any other restroom 100 million times. I've been in the restroom, and all of a sudden, to begin with, there were a lot of people started coming in, and it was a full house. Just to tell you that. And all of a sudden, the lights went out. I said, "Oh dear, not that." And I've been to so many restrooms where they've got a light sensor, and you come in, and as soon as you sit still a little bit, the lights go off because they've got a short fuse on that motion sensor light. I was a little bit irritated about that, and then all of a sudden, lights start flashing, different color lights start flashing in that restroom, and I'm like, "What is going on?" And there's commotion. All the other people are in the room. They're all kind of freaking out. What in the world is going on? And then I look up at where the light's coming up, and I see these silver balls, or disco balls in the ceiling, and disco music comes on. And I'm just, what in the world? Only in northern Kentucky would you go to the restroom and the lights go off, and flashing colored lights come on, and a disco ball starts flying around, and disco music comes on. But I'll tell you, what happened was that a boring event that we go through every day was broken up by excitement. It was pretty interesting, and it made a pretty good story to tell after the fact. Not many people have been to a disco bathroom, and when I came out of that room, out of that stall, the lights came back on, and I looked up on the wall, and there's a big red button up there, and a picture of a frog pointing at that button saying, "Don't push this button." Well, somebody pushed that button. And then as I was leaving, I noticed up on the wall over the counter where you pay for your merchandise, there was a big sign that said disco bathrooms, and it had a picture of a frog sitting on a toilet. And I'll never forget that. And then once I got off of that, after I left there, I started looking it up on the internet, and sure enough, there's four total restrooms, disco restaurant. There's 4 gas stations in northern Kentucky that have disco bathrooms. So next time you're in northern Kentucky, you might want to check that out. Again, I was at exit 44 on I-71, and I know it's there. So go check it out. It'll break up the day.